Hey guys, so since I made the first video, I guess I got inspired. um, this again is still regarding the air brake system on the trucks. The first time I got an out of service for an air brake system, my boss was in my butt, and this was back, in the late 80s when truckers used to crawl under their trucks. Unfortunately, truckers today don't think that's their job. That's maybe the topic for another video someday, but the company I worked at actually had a toolbox set for the drivers. There was a creeper for the drivers, and and a grease gun. We were expected once a week, crawl under the truck, adjust our brakes, grease the truck, and do a real inspection. Back then, if we got taken out of service, there was hell to be paid. A lot of times, if your truck needed to get fixed, the boss wouldn't bother. He wouldn't bother keeping you around for those couple days while your truck was down. Versus the other way, hey boss, my truck has an oil leak. All right, well, jump in this other truck instead, or help out around the yard or whatever. They would work at keeping you working. If you got taken out of service because you weren't, on your game, a lot of times you'd get sent home and you'd get told, I'll call you when your truck's ready. And again, this was back in the 80s. The economy was slow. You really couldn't afford time off. So the first time I had an out of service for the air system, I learned something. The way we're taught to do a pre-trip is, even though for many people it's difficult, and most people that fail the skills test fail it at that point, it's really not adequate. It's not an adequate inspection. So right now I am bumped up against the dock and I have wheel chocks holding my truck in place. So I'm going to show you what DOT does, and it's how they catch you, okay? So they tell you to build up your air pressure. I just started the truck. It's been off for a while. It hasn't quite built up enough pressure yet, but for the sake of this, it'll work. So turn off the truck. I'm gonna have to turn the key back on because my gauges are digital, and I goofed up and turned off the truck a little too soon. So what I'm gonna do is put the truck over in low, and we're gonna turn the truck off. Like I said, the wheels are chalked, and I'm bumped up against the dock, and the truck's on a little bit of an incline, so there's no way it's gonna move anywhere. So now what we do is we release the brakes. I am not gonna charge the trailer because they have my trailer locked out. Anyone that's been to a dock kind of knows what that means. When I get out, we'll take a look at it. And so now what we've done is we've released the brakes, but what that also means is we've filled the system with air. This is how they look at your truck. They don't look at it static with the engine idling. They tell you to turn your truck off, release your brakes. They have your wheels chalked. And so if you sit here for a couple minutes watching your gauges, you can literally watch them drop if you have a leak. Okay? Now, at this point, mine don't seem to be moving, so I think I'm okay. They're pulling weight out of the back, and so that may start dumping air out of the suspension. Let's see. Actually, I'm probably empty already. No, it drops a little more. And so, as you can see, the gauges really haven't moved. So, with my system charged, they're not moving. But I guarantee you, if there's even a slight leak, when that DOT officer goes to crawl under the truck, he's going to hear it. The engine's off, and the system is charged. When we do our pre-trip, we have the engine running, and the parking brakes are set. Obviously, we don't have our brakes released as we're walking around the truck, right? But they release the brakes, which, if you watch my other video on brake chambers, that sends air to your 30-30 chambers, to the parking brake side, and when you push the red valve in, to supply your trailer, this is what sends air up your line. I'm sorry, your red line that connects truck to the trailer, right? So right now, if I were to push it in, it immediately dropped because I'm not connected. They disconnected me so that I don't absentmindedly drive away. But what this will do is it'll start filling the tanks on the trailer. When you push this one in, it's going to charge your brake chambers to release the parking brakes. So the whole system will be fully charged, and that's when they go and start looking for leaks. You won't catch this idling your engine with the parking brake set and the system not charged. You probably won't even catch it at a truck stop with other trucks running because the engine noise from the other trucks drowns it out. Now, this is something I learned because I got popped. Unfortunately, we learn a lot when we get those out of service. But I've done it this way now for a while. And I sometimes even go so far as to move away from a truck stop and try to find like an empty parking lot somewhere where I can do this procedure and look for my leaks. So I hope this kind of helps. If you look at my gauges, I've been sitting here now for however long I've been chit-chatting with you guys, and my gauges aren't really moving. That's pretty solid. Now granted, we haven't charged the trailer, so if there's leaks either at the glad hand or the line that goes between the truck and the trailer or the tanks, it would have impacted it a little bit more. But as you can tell, I'm not losing air. We didn't let it fill all the way up. For the sake of the video, I just started it at about 100 pounds, and so we've lost a couple pounds, looks like, on our secondary. It's not really bad. You know, this is like 3-4 minutes worth. I don't think that's something they would find. I believe the secondary on this truck runs the airbags. I may have an airbag with a slight leak somewhere. Maybe if I stay motivated, I'll go do yet another video on how to find those leaks. Anyways, take care, guys. Be safe and avoid those out of services.